Have you ever seen someone try to argue their way out of a traffic ticket, with the most bizarre logic imaginable? Well, that's exactly what happened in this courtroom when Mr. Matthews stepped up to face a red light violation. He claimed he wasn't driving at all, he was merely traveling. And because, according to him, no one got hurt, the ticket shouldn't even exist. Sounds crazy, right? But he didn't stop there. Every chance he got, he shouted, "Objection!" and doubled down on his argument, ignoring the fact that the law doesn't work that way. Officer Moran, the officer on the scene, calmly explained that Mr. Matthews ran the red light. In fact, the dashcam footage clearly shows it. And here's the kicker, because Matthews had a clean driving record, the officer even gave him a lesser ticket at first, showing some mercy. But Matthews wasn't interested in mercy, he wanted to rewrite the rules. The judge, showing serious patience, repeatedly overruled his objections and explained how the court actually works. Every interruption, but no one was hurt, comment, fell flat against the evidence. The prosecutor made it crystal clear, the video doesn't lie, and the Michigan traffic laws are very specific about red lights. In the end, after all the back and forth, the judge delivered the verdict: Mr. Matthews was responsible for disobeying the traffic signal. He had to pay a $150 fine. But since he'd already posted a $175 bond, he got $25 back. A small consolation, but a big lesson. This case is a perfect example of what happens when someone tries to use sovereign citizen arguments against solid evidence. No matter how creative your reasoning, the law, and the facts, win every time.
I was stopped at the 11 Mile and Washington light facing westbound. I had a green arrow and a vehicle proceeded eastbound on 11 Mile through a light, which gained my attention. That light was red for them, which drew my attention to that vehicle.
Judge, at this time, I'd like to play that video from Officer Moran's dash cam. Judge, I'm just gonna stop that video here. Is that the video taken from your patrol car?
That is the vehicle for my patrol vehicle.
Does that fairly and accurately portray the events of the incident that led to the defendant being issued a civil infraction on that date and time?
It does.
Your Honor, I'd ask that that video be admitted into evidence.
All right, so admitted.
Officer, so what do you see on that video?
What I see, like I spoke to earlier, I was stopped at the 11 Mile at Washington light facing westbound. I got the green arrow to turn southbound on Washington when a vehicle proceeded eastbound through, obviously, the red light.
When you approached that vehicle, did you observe the driver of that vehicle?
I did.
Do you recognize the driver of that vehicle on this Zoom today?
I do.
What's your objection?
Because I was traveling.
Well, go ahead. You can answer the question, Officer Moran.
Yes, I do see the defendant in the court today.
Your Honor, let the record reflect that Officer Moran has identified the defendant, Anthony Mathis.
The record will so reflect.
When you pulled the defendant over, did you have a conversation with him?
I did.
And in that conversation, did he admit to you that he had driven through the red light?
He did.
And ultimately, you issued him a ticket?
I did.
What was that ticket for that you had issued him?
I actually issued him an impeding traffic ticket.
Okay. But that's not what he actually did, correct?
No, that's not.
Why did you issue him an impeding traffic ticket?
Mr. Mathis at the time had a good driving record. He knew what he did. He told me he admitted to it, and he had a good attitude on the road. So I chose to go an impeding traffic ticket.
I object.
What's your objection?
I never admitted to anything. Do you guys have that on the record? Did you guys pull that up that I admitted to something?
You'll have a chance
Not,
to,
then that's false.
Mr. Mathis, you'll have a chance. Your objection's overruled. This is his testimony from his memory. You'll have a chance to testify yourself and add any additional evidence here. So at this point, that is not a proper objection. It's overruled. Anything else to add there to that?
What, just very briefly, Judge, what infraction did you actually observe?
I could have wrote him two infractions, either disobey traffic control device or disobey traffic signal.
And that's what he actually did, correct?
Correct.
Judge, I have nothing further at this time.
Now, Mr. Mathis, it's your opportunity to ask Officer Moran any questions that you feel are necessary. Now, I just want to instruct you. You'll have a chance to testify if you choose to in a moment. Right now, anything that you say should be in the form of a question directed at the officer. If you're going to start testifying, I'm going to have to interrupt you and redirect you. You'll have that chance in a moment. It's just to ask questions. So go ahead with any questions you have.
All right. Well, for the record, is there any injured party? Do we have a sworn affidavit or complaint from an injured party?
No, there's no injured party.
Okay, so we don't have any injured party. So Judge, you've been sworn in to uphold the Constitution, correct?
You're not. I'm not on the stand. I'm not answering any questions like that, Mr. Moran or Mr. Mathis. Excuse me.
So what type of court is this? Is this Admiralty Maritime Law?
Mr. Mathis, right now is your opportunity to ask Officer Moran any questions that you want to. If you're going to make some legal objections or something along those lines, you can do that in your closing. But right now, this moment in time is for you to ask Officer Moran any questions.
Okay. Well, for the record, we don't have any injured parties, correct?
Judge, that's been asked and answered.
Sustained. He already answered that question.
Right, correct. I just wanted to make sure that we got that on the record. So if there's no injured party here, then why are we here?
Judge, I don't think that's an appropriate question for Officer Moran.
It should have been no type of charge of
Hang on,
anything.
Mr. Mathis. When there's just like when you made an objection, we all waited for the court to make a ruling. That's what you need to do. So Mr. Kluzny just made an objection that your question was actually more of a legal argument. I think that's what your objection was, Mr. Kluzny, correct?
Yes, Judge, I don't believe there was a question directed to the officer.
So I'm sustaining that objection. And again, you can make those legal arguments or whatever the case is that you want to make at the end. Right now, it's just questions or not to Officer Moran. Anything else?
No, that's the only question that I have. If there's no injured party, he said no one was injured.
All right. So, Mr. Kluzny, would you like to call any additional witnesses? Or I should ask you first, any redirect of Officer Moran?
Not at this time, Judge.
All right. Then any additional witnesses, Mr. Kluzny?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Mathis, will you be testifying or do you have any witnesses that you'd like to call on your behalf?
No, I don't.
All right. Mr. Kluzny, then your closing statement.
Judge, based on the testimony of Officer Moran and the video, it's clear by a preponderance of evidence that the defendant committed the offense of disobeying a traffic signal. The authority for the stop comes from MCL 257.611 or 257.612. I believe that's for the traffic control device. The video in this case could not be more clear, Judge. You see Officer Moran is in the left turn lane. He gets a green arrow, and the defendant in his vehicle has a red light, drives right through the red light. If Officer Moran didn't stop, he would have hit the defendant's vehicle because he went right through the red light. It's rare that we have a video that is as clear as this, Judge. And the officer tried to give him a break by writing him for an impeding instead of what he actually did, which was disobeying a traffic signal. And I believe it's clear, based on the testimony in the video, that the defendant is responsible for that traffic offense of disobeying a traffic signal.
Repeat your change.
Yeah. Thank you.
You got the light?
Mr. Mathis, your closing argument?
Well, what I would like to say on the record is no one was injured. There's no injured parties. If you guys can't bring forth any injured party, then why are we still here? I need this to be dismissed, and the funds that was issued on the bond account needs to be reimbursed to me. Period. You guys don't have any injured party here. Based on the Constitution, the Sixth Amendment, if you guys can't bring forth the accused,
Anything else, Mr. Mathis?
not at the moment.
All right. Was there a bond posted? I'm not quite sure what he's talking
Absolutely.
Judge, it looks like there was a $175 bond posted. Judge, I apologize. I actually, the file is here. I'm going to send the file into court.
Mr. Kaluzny, the amendment was to disobey a traffic signal, which is a okay.
I apologize, Judge. The file coming into you.
That's all right. The amendment that the people made here was to disobey a traffic signal. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. The court's heard the testimony, the arguments of the parties, reviewed the video that was introduced as evidence. The video shows clearly the vehicle driven by Mr. Mathis go through a red light, the traffic signal at 11 in Washington. The standard here at issue is preponderance. The video showed beyond any doubt, really, that that's what occurred. Also, there's testimony from Officer Moran that that Mr. Mathis did actually admit on the roadside that he had done what was alleged to have occurred here today. That testimony was uncontroverted by any other evidence that was introduced. With that, the court does find Mr. Mathis to be responsible for the amended charge of disobey a traffic signal. That's a $150 fine. Mr. Mathis has posted a $175 bond, so the court will apply the bond to the fine of $150. There's a $25 refund coming to Mr. Mathis, and that's all for today.
You won't believe what happened in this courtroom. A man named Mr. Mattis thought he could argue his way out of a traffic ticket in the most unusual way. He claimed he wasn't driving when he ran a red light. According to him, he was simply traveling. And because, in his view, no one was hurt, the case should be dismissed entirely. Right from the start, his arguments were confusing, persistent, and, frankly, frustrating for everyone in the room. The hearing began with Officer Moran testifying. He recounted witnessing Mathis's vehicle running the red light. The officer described the situation calmly, stating what he saw and how it unfolded. The dashcam footage was played in court, capturing the incident clearly, leaving no room for doubt. Every moment of the violation was visible, and yet Mattis insisted that none of it mattered because, in his interpretation, he was traveling and not driving. From the moment the evidence was presented, Mattis interrupted repeatedly, shouting, "Objection," at nearly every point. He repeatedly tried to convince the court that the absence of an injured party somehow negated the offense. He argued, with unwavering confidence, that the ticket was meaningless because no harm was done. The courtroom became a clash of logic versus legal reality. The judge listened patiently, overruled the objections, and carefully explained the proper procedures. Despite Mathis's relentless interruptions, the judge maintained composure, demonstrating remarkable patience in the face of persistent, irrelevant arguments. Officer Moran continued with his testimony, explaining that Mattis had admitted to driving through the red light during the initial stop. The officer even mentioned that he had originally issued a lesser, impeding traffic, ticket because Mattis had a good driving record and had been courteous at the time. This small gesture of leniency did not prevent Mattis from insisting that the case should be dismissed. His logic was clear only to him, and he persisted with his unusual interpretation of the law. The prosecutor's statements in court were direct and unwavering. They referenced Michigan traffic laws, specifically sections 257.611 and 257.612, which make it clear that drivers must obey traffic signals. The dashcam video provided undeniable proof, showing Mathis's vehicle passing through a red light. Every frame confirmed the officer's testimony. The evidence was simple, clear, and impossible to dispute. Yet, Mattis remained convinced that the lack of an injured party somehow invalidated the entire case. As the hearing continued, the tension in the room grew. Mattis continued to insist that traveling and driving were different, repeating this claim over and over. He cited legal provisions in the Sixth Amendment, attempting to justify why the ticket should be thrown out. Every time the judge tried to bring him back to the facts, Mattis insisted his reasoning was correct. The courtroom dynamic became a battle of patience, evidence, and unshakable belief. The judge calmly explained why his claims were irrelevant, why the evidence mattered, and why the law applied to all drivers equally, regardless of personal interpretations. Even during closing statements, Mattis doubled down. He reiterated his claim that because no one was harmed, the case should be dismissed and his bond returned. He attempted to frame the issue as if the presence or absence of an injured party was the deciding factor, completely ignoring the traffic violation itself. The prosecutor countered with facts and logic, pointing to the video evidence, the officer's testimony, and the clear language of the law. There was no ambiguity. The violation was undeniable. Finally, the judge delivered the verdict. Mr. Mattis was found responsible for disobeying the traffic signal. A $150 fine was imposed, and because he had already posted a $175 bond, he received a $25 refund. The decision reflected the straightforward application of the law. Regardless of creative arguments or unconventional logic, evidence and legal standards prevail. The hearing highlights something important. No matter how confident someone might be in their interpretation of the law, the facts, the evidence, and the legal framework always take precedence. This case is a clear example of the futility of sovereign citizen arguments when faced with real-world evidence. No amount of repetition, no insistence on technical distinctions, and no creative interpretation can change the reality captured on camera and confirmed in testimony. Watching this hearing unfold is a fascinating glimpse into the mindset of someone trying to bend reality to fit their interpretation of law. It's almost surreal to hear claims about traveling versus driving, and see someone insist that the absence of injury invalidates the entire legal process. But it's also a reminder that the justice system relies on consistency, evidence, and reason. Personal beliefs and interpretations can't override these fundamental principles. Every interaction in this courtroom reinforced the same lesson: law isn't subjective. Dashcam footage doesn't lie. Testimony doesn't bend to argumentation alone. Even the most elaborate attempts to redefine basic terms, like driving versus traveling, cannot overcome facts. The judge's patience and adherence to procedure ensured that the case was resolved fairly and correctly, highlighting the limits of unconventional legal theories. By the end of the hearing, it was clear that the evidence was the final word. The video showed exactly what happened, and the law dictated the outcome. Despite his repeated objections, arguments, and attempts to manipulate the court's understanding, Mr. Mattis could not avoid responsibility. The fine and partial bond refund marked the conclusion of a case where personal interpretation collided with undeniable reality. This case is not just a courtroom story, it's a lesson. It demonstrates how creativity and persistence in argumentation can't replace facts, and how the law functions to maintain order, clarity, and fairness. The entire hearing serves as a vivid example of the limits of personal reasoning in the face of legal evidence. In the end, this story reminds us that while arguments can be made, facts are immutable, the law is clear, and evidence always speaks louder than personal beliefs. It's a fascinating courtroom experience, and a powerful reminder that when it comes to law, reality always wins.